These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording Tuesday, April 23rd, in between game 1 and 2, because there's a month between the two games, so we're recording another video before game 2. As you're hearing this, game 2 is tonight. As we're recording this, I got back from Celtics practice a few hours ago, so we are going to talk about something that they talked about, which is increasing the level of physicality, their expectation for the Heat to do the same, and what that could mean for game 2. As always, make sure to leave a like on the video. We'd appreciate it very, very much. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. You got constant content coming at you throughout the playoffs. And if you listen on audio platforms, which this one's not on, but almost all of our full-length pods are, follow us there on Spotify and Apple. Leave us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate it. But obviously, the whole buzz from game 1, Caleb Martin undercut Tatum, Bam Adebayo screens, all that good stuff. But what that boils down to, and what is more important, is the Celtics are ready to up their level of physicality. We did a doc. So me, Noah, and Bobby Kravitsky of SM Media Group, Noah, and Justin, all of whom are on the round table, did a doc where we transcribed the quotes. If I control F to find a word on the page, physicality comes up 12 different times in 3 people talking about the games tomorrow. Joe Mazzulla saying, the physicality, we're ready to up it. Like, that's where we need to be. He said the simple things: two-handed rebounds, crashing, setting good screens, getting through screens. I think the biggest adjustment is doing the simple things under duress, and physicality and toughness. That to me is the more important than anything else. I wrote a whole article on it. Like, his biggest takeaways from game 1, according to Joe Mazzulla: better is just doing what we did with higher intensity and higher physicality. Like, that is all he wants them to do. I wrote about it for Celtics blog after practice. It feels like it's almost a good thing that the Caleb Martin thing happened, that the Heat went on that run, because the Celtics all year have been, we don't want to let success make us be comfortable. And the fact that there was a little bit of that at the end of the game from the Heat should send a message to the Celtics like, all right, you know what? Let's up the game. And if anything else, they can use that Caleb Martin thing as more wood to fuel their fire of be like, all right, we're going to play physical. Fuck yeah, let's play physical. And I think we're going to see a pretty chippy, in a good way, game 2.
Yeah, I think the Celtics kind of did a pretty decent job of being physical in game 1. As funny as it sounds, like, they hustled, they hit the offensive glass really, really well, and made it a point of emphasis to hit the glass overall. So that's one part of being physical. Another part is playing pretty good defense. At least physicality can lead to good defense, and we saw a very good defense from the Celtics in game 1. So I have pretty good confidence in them showing up for game 2, being physical, not really being afraid. I don't think this team as a whole is afraid of physicality. I think there are players on this team that may not thrive in physicality, Kristaps, but the rest of them, like Tatum, Jalen, like, those guys may not be the toughest guys in the NBA, but they can still play through contact. Like, Tatum is always getting whacked and going to the rim and everything. So there's no shock to me that they're thinking about physicality and they feel prepared to bring the physicality and match the physicality. I think even Kristaps after game 1 was like, they were physical, but I actually think we were more physical. It wasn't even just about matching. It was like we were more physical. So I think that is a good thing for people to feel good about.
Yeah, Jalen got asked after practice, like, had the Celtics talked about the skirmish, everything that transpired after the Caleb Martin hit. He said, not really. Wasn't anything to talk about. We're more focused on doing our job, executing and winning the game. But, a level of physicality is important to set the tone. We know what they like to do. We would want to match that effort. So that was it. Nothing really to talk about. Just talking about being the team to set the tone in terms of physicality. And then as far as what Jalen expects for Miami to do in game 2, he said they're going to be hungry, desperate. They're going to come out fast, even more aggressive, trying to turn us over, trying to crash the glass hard, be physical, knocking us to the ground, just trying to win that physicality matchup any way they can. But we'll be ready, to do the same thing. My question is, where do you think we see that physicality show up? I do think we'll see a chippy game 2. Wouldn't surprise me to see a couple texts thrown around during the game, but who's going to set the tone? What's going to be? We talked about it on the roundtable. Like, maybe you throw a big man in there to run through a Bam screen, but like, how do you expect this physicality to present itself?
Well, Miami leans into physicality quite a bit, so I would imagine they are going to be physical from the jump, and I think the Celtics will respond. I don't think we're going to see like a fight or anything. We might see some like fake NBA level of like shouting back and forth, but I don't think anything's going to escalate. I think if it was going to escalate, you probably would have seen something flare up in game one before these guys realized like Caleb Martin got pushed. And like Jalen even talked about it. Like he thought it was at the time in the heat of the moment, something that could have been dirty. But after seeing it, like he was like, no, there was nothing there. I think it's all a bit overblown because of the two plays that we talked about. But I do feel like this game is going to be an intense one. I think the Celtics still might win by a lot, but it's maybe not going to be a cakewalk like Sunday was.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they might run through Bam screens a little bit harder. Like I feel like they I don't think they'll like get fouls because of it. Like I don't think they'll like screw themselves by getting called for too many defensive fouls, but I don't think they're gonna see what happened to Derek White and be like, all right, we'll just do the same thing. I feel like you could see at least a couple like, all right, you know, you're going to set a screen like that. We're going to run right through you, which is a good thing. You want that level of intensity. You want that physicality. Pritchard talked about the Caleb Martin thing too. And it felt like the media was kind of goading the Celtics into being like, yeah, fuck that guy, et cetera, et cetera. But Pritchard came out and he was like, nah, I think we like that. It was a joy to see that. And that's what it's going to be like moving forward. And we're ready for that test, that physicality. You could even see when JT got up right away, it didn't phase him. Teammates had his back. So we're ready. So we're just one big family. We take care of each other. Like he was like, yeah, we like that. We're about that. We're ready. Jalen, I was asked an interesting thing too. Somebody asked him, like, do you think this team is more ready to embrace confrontation than in years past? Which is like, I thought was a pretty interesting, like line of questioning. I can't think of the word, like an interesting angle, I should say. And Jalen was like, yeah, he said, I would say so. That's what it is. Every game is a fight. You got to win the game and you got to win the fight. Just basically talking about like being the team that's willing to dive on the floor. And that's a lot of what people talked about before the season. Like no Marcus, no Grant. Like, are you going to be able to find it? Are you going to be able to find these like players or these moments where you're going to go in that extra mile? And Celtics didn't really have to in game one because they just frankly killed them. There's no moment for them to set that extra tone level of physicality because they just jumped them from the start of the game. And if they do that again in game two, no one's going to complain because they got the win in dominant fashion. But I think the only way you see that level of physicality in game two is if it gets gritty, if it gets ugly. And maybe it's like a hot take, but like, I don't think you should have to get it to that point because I think you're just good enough to
that's kind of how I
stomp them
feel.
regardless. Yeah. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into 1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Drew Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Drew Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. I don't know.
I mean, I said on the round table, I was like, there's probably like 60 to 75% chance they should be able to blow them out again, win by 15. Like, Celtics are a team this season that won more games, had more 30-point leads than 10-point deficits. They may have had more 30-point leads than losses. That's how dominant they have been and have excelled when it comes to breaking games open. And for what it's worth, they usually do a pretty good job at rebounding in a figurative sense, where when things start to unwind a bit, they get under control, they clap back and rebuild their lead. You haven't seen as much of the lead blowing this year as you had in years past. There are examples you could point at. 30-point lead against Atlanta goes up in smoke. The Dean Wade game is another one you can point at. But besides those two, it's really tough to like dial back and be like, what about this game? What about that game? How about this one? This one was awful. You're not seeing much of that anymore from the Celtics. So to Jalen's point, this team is absolutely better at facing adversity, of getting into those gritty fights when it comes to stopping runs and actually executing. I mean, Jalen himself, I feel like, was really good in game one. When Miami started to push back at the end of the game, he was the one that made a couple baskets. I could be wrong, but I remember him having a decent fourth quarter. Don't
I
pull it up.
I'm not. I hope there's some text tomorrow. I hope it gets chippy. Like I would enjoy that. I think it'd be a fun thing to watch unfold. And I think in a weird way, I think it would calm the minds of Celtics fans and the media if things got chippy, because I feel like the biggest gripe, which isn't really warranted, from a lot of fans is like, oh, these guys are soft, which is like the oldest, lamest. You know what I'm saying though? Like,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
for
everyone just goes for those guys. I mean,
that's what
some
I'm
guy in the
saying.
comments in the video from
Yep.
now yesterday was like, I didn't know everyone was this soft.
And I think that's the, how do I put this in the correct way? That is the easiest way out, as in your knowledge is so shallow that that is your like one knock on the Celtics. Like your ability to critique the team is so poor that that is your go-to like criticism is it's telling in my like that, because well, like Felger Matt, it's like
Used
these
to
guys are
watching the
soft, they don't know how
Patriots.
to win. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like the talking heads radio go-to, these guys are soft, they can't win. Like any team that hasn't won a championship yet is soft, right? Like that should be a little more niche, like have a little more analysis to your thing. But I do think for that sake it would be good, but at the same time, and more importantly, I think it would show people and show themselves they're like, we're here no matter what. Like, yeah, this is us. And I mean, you wrote the whole different here article, and as corny as that kind of is, like the different here slogan, it's a little
Well,
weird, but like
I leaned into it because it is corny. I put it in
not
the
you,
title. I
like
said
it in
hashtag
general.
different here.
I do think it would show like the Celtics, other teams around the league, and like the people who Patriots fans, I'll label them, like, yeah, this shit's different. Like these guys are. This is not the same team as last year. This is not the same team that has had troubles getting through the playoffs. I don't want to say that because they've made the Eastern Conference Finals a million fucking times, but that has troubled getting over the hump, I should say. Like this is a different level, a different notch of intensity that they can get to. And more importantly, against a Heat team that a lot of people still have those demons rolling around their heads from last year. I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to see them run through a BAM screen, box out Caleb Martin really hard, you know,
Yeah, they should
little hard
actually
foul here and there.
undercut
You know what I'm
Caleb
saying?
Martin
Stuff like that. No.
on purpose.
Maybe not. Maybe not. No. I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Any
not
final
really.
thoughts? I'm excited for
Uh,
this game too. I think it'll be a good one.
yeah, I mean, I still think the Celtics should be able to control this game. I think their start to game one was very impressive, and I want to point at it again just because that is just not some shit you would see last year. Like this
Yeah.
Miami team would have played a little bit into their heads, and they might not have come out in the fashion that they did on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, coming into this, I was like, what if they drop game one? What if they take it too lightly? And they made it very clear right from the start that that is not the case. They are locked in. The Joe game to game mindset seems to have trickled over into the playoffs, and that's good. I said after watching one game, we've only gotten the game part of not game to game.
Mm-hmm.
Big day today.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe as usual. And I'll let Sam wrap it up.
All righty. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. We're coming at you with new content at 5 a.m., whether it's full pods Monday, Wednesday, or not Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Excuse me. Game recaps morning after each game or other videos in between. We're live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Talking C's with Bobby Kravitsky. Celts of the Roundtable is Tuesdays around 6 p.m., and we're live for pregame half hour before every single tip-off. It's a ton of fun. Come hang out. Again, like, subscribe, tell us what you think in the comments. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. If you follow us there, you'll find the full pods and game recaps right in your audio feeds. Leave us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. You can also find us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. I'm sure you've got something to say about the playoffs. Go ahead and reach out. We'll read it on the next pod, which will go up in the morning after tonight's game. So get those thoughts in. We love to hear from you. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find our streams there and on YouTube and on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at JackSimone NBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.